TRT Dünya gündeminden bir kez daha merhaba. Programın bu bölümünde Avrupa Parlamentosu Sosyalist ve Demokratların İlerici İttifakı Grubu Başkanı Swoboda canlı yayın konuğumuz olacak. Türkiye ile Avrupa Birliği arasında süren müzakere sürecini, Avrupa'daki ekonomik krizi, birliğin dış politikasını, Avrupa'daki aşırı sağın yükselişini ve uluslararası gelişmeleri değerlendireceğiz. Baş gösteren ekonomik kriz birliği birlik olmaktan ne kadar çıkardı? Alternatif yöntemler ne? Ekonomik krizden çıkış yolları için ne yapmak lazım konuşacağız. Ben Ayse Suberker, TRT Dünya gündemi başlıyor. Ve konumuzla sohbet etmeye başlayabiliriz. Mr. Swoboda, thanks for joining the show.
Merhaba.
First of all, you came to Turkey to attend a series of financial summits. Could you start off by explaining how the summit went since the European Union is struggling with a European economic crisis?
Well, you are right. It's a big economic and financial crisis, but it's also a social crisis, and that was my subject to tell the audience. All what you can see and all empirical studies prove that if you go too much into the financial sector and if you disregard the social needs of the lower income people, you will aggravate the economic crisis because low income people would spend more money if they would have more money, and the financial sector very often is taking the best out of the real sector where real products are created. So this was a good discussion, and I think many of them came and said, well, you are right, we have to rebalance the economy in Turkey, but also in Europe, of course.
What do you say about Turkey's economy? Because since we're not the part of the European Union yet, maybe in the coming minutes we will talk about this as well, because the support for the European Union has dropped dramatically. But when you take a look at the Turkish economy, what could you say? Because in the third quarter it grew a lot after China, and the Turkish Prime Minister said this crisis will just go near us. And did it prove to be right?
Let's hope, but of course, if China goes down with economic growth, Europe is very low in economic growth, and there's a crisis around Turkey, it is not sure. And of course, also the Deputy Prime Minister responsible for economic affairs had to announce some measures, including some tax increases, in order to balance the budget. So it is still very good, the economic growth in Turkey, but the economic situation around may affect Turkey if there doesn't come a new impetus into the economic growth of Europe and other countries as well.
Okay, you said during your, let's say, contacts, you mentioned that social issues should be balanced with the economic one. But when we look at Turkey-EU relations, they're not going well at the moment, at least. Let's take a look at the negotiations process between the European Union and Turkey, and then we'll start talking. Evet, gelin konuşmaya tam olarak Türkiye-Avrupa Birliği ilişkileri açısından konuşmaya başlamadan önce müzakerelerin ne noktada olduğunu bir hatırlayalım, sonra devam edelim.
Türkiye'nin Avrupa Birliği üyeliği süreci 1963 yılında Avrupa Ekonomik Topluluğu'yla ortaklık anlaşması imzalamasıyla başladı. Süreç 1987 yılında tam üyelik için yapılan başvuruyla ivme kazandı. 1999 yılında Avrupa Birliği üyeleri tarafından aday olarak kabul edilen Türkiye, 2005 yılında tam üyelik müzakerelerine geçti. Aradan geçen 7 yılda 35 fasıl arasında toplam 13 fasıl açılabildi. Son 2 yılda yeni bir pazarlık başlığı açılmadı. Kapanan başlık sayısı ise sadece 1. O başlık da muktesebatın 1-2 sayfayı geçmediği bilim ve araştırma. Türkiye, Kıbrıs sorunu ve Fransa'nın itirazları nedeniyle üyeliğe giden süreçte de zorluklarla karşı karşıya. Şu ana kadar 18 başlık dondurulmuş şekilde bekliyor. Bunlardan 8'i Avrupa Birliği tarafından Türkiye'nin limanlarını Kıbrıs Rum kesimi gemilerine açmayı reddetmesi nedeniyle 10 başlıksa Kıbrıs Rum kesimi ve Fransa tarafından donduruldu. Öte yandan Kıbrıs Rum kesiminin Temmuz ayında Avrupa Birliği dönem başkanlığını devralması Türkiye'nin birlikle ilişkilerini derinden etkiledi. Türkiye, Rum yönetiminin başkanlığını tanımadığını açıklarken ilişkilerini Avrupa Komisyonu üzerinden yürüteceğini belirtti.
Avrupa Parlamentosu'nun sosyalist lideri Sayın Swoboda ile konuşmaya devam ediyoruz. The full negotiations started in 1999, and as we said in the news, only 13 of the 35 chapters have opened, and we only concluded one, which is science and research. So it seems not very important at the moment. And you've said during one of your interviews that the relations have not been frozen, but they cooled off a bit.
That's true. Let's be honest. Both sides have complaints. Turkey has complained, European Union has complained. But it's not time for complaining. It's time for getting a new start. Mm-hmm. And a new start, especially after the presidency by Cypriot government and after the elections in Cyprus, because that's always very fragile, the situation. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, we did not unblock also the discussion and negotiations in Cyprus itself. But anyway, it's time for a new start. That means, sorry, that we should try to find new chapters where negotiations should start, especially energy and especially also on the question of judiciary and home affairs. And, of course, we should try to think ahead and parallel to negotiations about the future membership, think what could be done to improve the relationship between Turkey and European Union.
What could be done?
There are many things. Look about the neighborhood. We have a common neighborhood in the south and in the east. In the south, especially Mediterranean. The problems in the Middle East or the problems in North Africa, even in Syria, cannot be solved by one alone, neither by European Union nor by Turkey. And the same is true for the whole situation with Iran and the nuclear danger coming from there. If Turkey and European Union would work closely together on these issues, irrespective of membership question, we could create a lot of stability in the region, stability which is good for Turkey and good for the European Union. So there are many issues where we can show that the, let's say, Christian majority in the European Union and the Muslim majority here in Turkey work together hand in hand to get rid of the extremists, of these crazy people who always think they have to fight against the other religion. No, we have to work together because we have common aims.
Yes, you say we need a new start, but do you believe that the current both economic and social environments within the European Union, as well as in the Middle East, is suitable for a new start? Because everybody has their own agenda. I mean, the Europeans are struggling with the economic crisis, and probably they're not worried about Turkey's negotiations. Would you confirm that?
Of course, we have our own problems, and we have to solve them. Turkey has also their own problem. Look at the terrorism and the whole Kurdish question. So we all have our own agenda we have to deal with. And, you know, the normal political game, should Erdogan be the next president of the country or not, these are all important issues. But the real important issue is, of course, to create, I would say, a circle of stability around us, around European Union and Turkey. And that, I think, this aim should we have in mind if we think about the future of our both countries, in the EU and with Turkey.
As for your country, Austria and France, we know that once the negotiations are completed with the European Union for Turkey, your countries said they would put this decision into referendum. So we already know that two countries, France and Austria, are opposed to Turkey's membership. And so why should Turkey work along with the European Union?
Look, first of all, France changed the constitution. The referendum is no longer obligatory. It's not obligatory in Austria either. It's a political decision, a decision I don't like very much because you don't have a referendum about the fate of the others. And anyway, we are not at the end of the game. It needs many, many years. Let's be honest. It's not a question of today or tomorrow. Today, of course, the vote would be negative. It's absolutely clear in several countries, not in all the countries, but in several countries, because of many misinterpretation, misconception, prejudices, and many other things. But also in Turkey, if you would vote no, Turkey would reject the membership. At least this is the public sentiment. Therefore, my proposal is to work together many issues, and if people see how important Turkey is, if people see how Turkey can contribute also to the stability in, as I said, in this region, and that Islam, which is practiced in Turkey, is compatible, fully compatible with democracy and with modernization of the economy.
But can we say that the majority of the Europeans think of Islam is not compatible with democracy.
Not
Can
the
we say that?
majority, but there are many, unfortunately, many right-wing politicians who argue again and again, like Wilders in the Netherlands, also the so-called Freedom Party in Austria, and Le Pen in France. There's this permanent ugly arguments. They are not really arguments, it's just emotions which are put on the table. And then you combine with some attacks here, some killings there, and all of a sudden this picture of Islam being a dangerous religion is painted. And this we have to get rid of.
Okay, we'll continue. Now we'll take a look at the results of a survey which show that Turkey's support for the EU membership process dropped dramatically. Let's take a look at the results and then we'll continue. Evet, Avrupalı liderlerin Türkiye'de reform sürecinin yavaşladığına dair eleştirileri var ama dedik. Türkiye'de de Avrupa Birliği'nin üyelik konusunda samimi olmadığı görüşü artık bayağı bir ağırlık kazanıyor. Geçtiğimiz ay açıklanan bir anket Türk halkının Avrupa Birliği'ne tam üyelik konusundaki inancının en düşük seviyede olduğunu ortaya koydu.
Türk halkının Avrupa Birliği'ne tam üyelik sürecine yönelik bakışını ortaya koyan son kamuoyu araştırması beklenmedik sonuçlarıyla dikkat çekti. Türkiye Avrupa Eğitim ve Bilimsel Araştırmalar Vakfı'nın yaptığı anket kapsamında 1110 kişiyle görüşüldü. Araştırma 20-30 Haziran tarihleri arasında 8 ayrı kente yapıldı. Geçtiğimiz ay sonunda açıklanan anket sonuçları Türk halkının Avrupa Birliği'ne tam üyelik konusundaki inancının en düşük seviyesine indiğini ortaya koydu. Türkiye'nin Avrupa Birliği ile tam üyelik müzakerelerine başladığı 2004 yılında yapılan araştırmalarda tam üyeliğe olan inanç %78'di. Aynı kurumun 2012 Haziran sonunda yaptığı araştırmaya göre ise bu oran %17'ye kadar indi. Önümüzdeki 10 yılda Türkiye'nin Avrupa Birliği'ne tam üye olabileceğini düşünenlerin oranı ise %15. Katılımcıların %66'sı 10 yıla kadar üyeliği öngörmezken bu oran vakfın 2011 yılında yaptığı araştırmada ise %53,2 idi. Katılımcıların %33'ü üyeliğin Türkiye'ye hiçbir katkısının olmayacağını belirtirken %29'u serbest dolaşım, %14'ü de Avrupa Birliği bütçesinden yararlanmayı katkılar arasında gösterdi.
Evet, Avrupa Parlamentosu Sosyalistlerin lideri Swoboda ile konuşmaya devam ediyoruz. Mr. Swoboda, we said it was in 2004 it was 78% the support. Now it dropped to 17% as of 2012. Why?
Because it needed so many years to negotiate, and even we are still at the start of negotiations. It's absolutely clear that people are disappointed. Therefore, I'm always against wrong promises. If you promise somebody something to have it very soon, which was a promise by both sides, by Turkey and the European Union.
It was like 13 years because Turkey and Croatia started the full negotiations process at the same time, and now we see Croatia becoming a full EU member.
Well,
whereas Turkey is as it is.
Well, the start for negotiation was 5-6 years ago with Croatia and Turkey. That is true. But it's, of course, a different size, different problems. Croatia is much closer, but Croatia did a lot of problems to solve. And they don't have the Kurdish issue, for example. It's only, I am always against blaming it's Turkey or it's the European Union. Both sides did not succeed in coming close together. But this is what I want to say. If you find finally it's no time to marry, at least not yet. You can still be friends and work together, and maybe even engaged, yes, and work on it. Some couples need a lot of time to really get ready to be married.
But do you believe that both sides sincerely want one another?
Look, European Union is very wide. There are many countries and populations who want Turkey to be in, and countries who perhaps are not so eager to have Turkey. And it's not one institution. And also in Turkey, you have people to go in, not to go in. Some people think if Turkey would join European Union, some of the problems can be easily solved from the Kurdish issue and other issues. And the same is true for the European Union. But look, I don't think that Turkey really knows, or many Turks know, what it would mean to go in the European Union. It would be a loss of independence on many issues, on sovereignty. So Turkey is, of course, more free now to decide in what direction it may go. But again, if you have Turkey, which is in many ways different from European Union, you have to get to know each other, really, about the cultures, what you could make out of this membership. We made many mistakes also because many Turk people came into European Union as workers. We did not integrate themselves. Some of them did not want really to be integrated. They still, in my own country in Austria, we have many, many Turkish people who don't speak any kind of German, only some very few words, and are here for 20 years. So is it their mistake, our mistake? Probably both. We didn't really invite them, and they did not really have a big interest to be integrated. Integration is not such an easy thing, and we see it also in the European Union. So we should not be despair about it. We should really try to concentrate and say, okay, we have that problem, we have a low support on both sides, but let's work on it, let's work together, because we have so many things in common, so many interests, so many neighbors in common. Why should we work against?
You said Turkish, okay, both the European Union and Turkey have their own agendas and own problems. You've been retrading the Kurdish problem of Turkey. What do you think about it? And do you need a new constitution is urgent for Turkey to make progress on the way to the negotiations?
Look, on the Kurdish issue, there are many, many peaceful people who just want to have more cultural expression, more possibility for their own citizens to express themselves, to self-government, whatever. On the other hand, you have terrorists. Terrorists you have to fight against, military and police, because it's not acceptable. But you should not forget that in all the solutions, in Ireland, in many other regions, you could only find a solution to have a double-track strategy. Military and police against the terrorism, but also then some offers how to include these people. And if you speak about a constitution, there is no big country around Europe, which I know are very few, which have not some sort of a decentralization. That doesn't mean according to ethnic lines, but give the mayors, give governors who should be elected by the people more power to deal with the local issues and the regional issues. Then you would automatically have some regions where there are predominant Kurdish people and they can solve their issues.
So you suggest a local governing system rather than a central administration, right?
A combination. Of course, some issues, foreign affairs, foreign trade, you have, of course, to do centrally. And therefore, that is important. But on the other hand, local issue, local streets building, local primary schools and other issues could be done on a local or regional level by the people who elect their representatives and not by people far away. You know, Turkey is a big country. Come from Diyarbakir or some other places to Ankara is quite far. So why not give them on local issue a local say?
So what do you think about Turkey's internal reforms process? Is it on hold or is it progressing?
Well, the government of Erdogan started a lot of reforms and did a lot of progress. It's absolutely clear. But on the other hand, in the last 1 or 2 years, I see a bit of tiring. The reforms are not proceeding as strongly as they should do, including the question of constitution. We talk about a new constitution since a lot of years already, and there is no real progress on many of the paragraphs on the penal code concerning, expression or criticism of Turkey or the unity of Turkey, including the Kurdish questions. There's still a lack of progress, and I don't know why. But I think Erdogan and his government should revitalize the reform process in Turkey.
Okay, we'll take a look at the European Union economy now, because we started hearing some nationalistic voices around Europe as well. So let's take a look at it and we'll continue to talk. Evet, aslında Avrupa Birliği'nin gündemini diyebiliriz. Hepsinin gündemi de farklı. Son 2 yıldır genişlemeden çok ekonomik kriz meşgul ediyor diyebiliriz. Avrupa'daki krizle ilgili haberimizi bir izleyelim, ondan sonra konuşmaya devam edeceğiz.
Avrupa Birliği 2 yılı aşkın bir süredir borç kriziyle boğuşuyor. Başta Yunanistan olmak üzere İspanya, Portekiz ve İtalya gibi ülkelerde krize karşı alınan kemer sıkma tedbirleri ise sosyal patlamaları beraberinde getiriyor. İflasın eşiğindeki Yunanistan'da çalışanlar yeni tasarruf paketine karşı bu hafta yeniden genel greve gitmeye hazırlanıyor. Portekiz'de mali krizden çıkmak için çabalayan hükümetin açıkladığı yeni vergi paketi hafta sonunda binlerce kişiyi sokağa döktü. İspanya'da ise on binlerce kişi hükümetin katı bütçe kısıtlamalarını protesto etmek için geçtiğimiz hafta gösteriler düzenledi. Sokakta bunlar yaşanırken Avrupa Birliği kurumları uzun süredir yaşanan krize çözüm arayışı içinde. Bugüne kadar atılan en somut adım Haziran ayı sonunda gündeme gelen yeni mali disiplin anlaşması oldu. Anlaşma, Avrupa Komisyonu'nun yetkilerinin genişletilmesini ve üye ülkelerin ekonomilerinin birlik tarafından daha sıkı bir şekilde denetlenmesini öngörüyor. Ancak İngiltere ve Çek Cumhuriyeti anlaşmaya imza koymadı. Fransa'da ise imzalanan anlaşmanın parlamento tarafından onaylanıp onaylanmayacağı tartışma konusu.
Evet, bu arada Almanya ve Fransa'nın kriz sürecinde oynadığı rol bazen tepkilere de yol açıyor. Özellikle birlik içinde bir kuzey-güney ayrımı yaşandığı yönündeki görüşlerse giderek ağırlık kazanıyor.
Ekonomik krizle beraber Almanya ve Fransa'nın üstlendiği rol ve krizdeki ülkelere dayatılan kemer sıkma paketleri birlik içinde sıkıntılara da yol açıyor. Yunanistan, İspanya, Portekiz ve İtalya gibi ülkelerde birlik içinde bir kuzey-güney ayrımı yaşandığını düşünenlerin sayısı bir hayli fazla. Bu görüşü açık bir şekilde ifade eden isimlerin başında İtalya Başbakanı Mario Monti geliyor. İtalyan lidere göre kuzey-güney ayrımı ile ilgili ön yargılar birliği psikolojik bir dağılmanın eşiğine getirebilir. Monti, Ağustos ayında Alman Der Spiegel dergisine verdiği demeçte Euro bölgesi krizinin Avrupa Birliği'ne zarar verebilecek ulusalcı duygulara yol açtığını söylemişti. Yunanistan'da da ortak pazardan en çok Almanya'nın kâr ettiğine dikkat çeken çevreler, Almanya Başbakanı Merkel'in krizdeki ülkelere sunduğu acı reçetelerin birliğin kuruluş felsefesine aykırı olduğu görüşünü savunuyor. Merkel, Yunanistan'daki protesto gösterilerinde de sık sık eleştiriliyor. Ülkedeki bazı basın yayın organları Alman lideri Hitler'e benzeten yorumlarda bulunmuştu. Daha önce de İtalya'daki bazı gazeteler Merkel'in Avrupa siyaset sahnesinde kurduğu egemenliği 4. İmparatorluğa benzetmişti.
Evet, Avrupa Parlamentosu Sosyalistlerin lideri Swoboda ile konuşmaya devam ediyoruz. Mr. Swoboda, we see Germany and France as the two leading actors of the European economy, and they take a lot of burden on their shoulders, and therefore they're introducing new strict austerity measures. And we see in Greece, in Portugal, and in Spain there are huge protests against these measures. Do you believe that this economic crisis is dividing the European Union into two, especially to north and to south?
Some people would like that in order to say we in the north are the good people, you know, the industrial one, those who are working all the time, and the south, the other people, they are lazy, they're just lying on the bed or in the grass, which is not true. Of course there are problems. There are problems, especially in Greece, on building up a real state structure, including the question of taxes and so on. But many new inventions came from Italy, came from Spain. So it's a one-sided argument. We have to help. We have to come together again. We have to combine savings with positive measures of investment, for example. If you look at public investment into roads and infrastructure, many other things, United States going up, Japan going up, China going up, Europe going down, then you cannot be surprised that we have a loss of jobs. And therefore there are many structural issues. Just cutting the budgets alone, as especially the German government is proposing, or was at least until now proposing, will not help. You see the demonstrations in Portugal, in Greece, in other countries. Very unfair against Madame Merkel. She's not from my party, but she's trying to help in a moderate way. I don't agree with all the points, but I think it is important to give countries the time to do reform. Look to Turkey. It could not reform its economy from one day to another. There are many different governments who did the job. And it's, of course, important now also in the South to do the reform, to have time enough to educate young people, but to give them also a job. Because most of the people who are not trained in the South, they have to leave the country, some even to the former colonies. So I think we have to have a more positive investment climate also in the European Union.
So you're suggesting European countries should more invest into the public, right?
Both in public and private. Of course, you have to combine, you have to real balance. But if the public investment is going down, after some time also private investment will go down, because I don't invest as a private company in an area where there is no infrastructure, where the roads are not very good or the telecommunication is not very good. Therefore, You see it also in Turkey. For the economic development, you need also this kind of infrastructure investment.
When we take a look at this financial treaty, which the UK and the Czech Republic vetoed from the start, what do you think about it? Would it work?
I hope it works in some way, although we are from the parliament are very critical because it has been done outside the normal parliamentary procedure. But we did a lot of laws also in the European Parliament in the same direction to observe the national budget much better, because we are European Union, we created a common currency, the euro, but we don't have a real economic common policy and an economic budgetary framework. So that we have to build inside the present constitution of the European Union. We have closely worked together. Nobody can work alone, especially if it has one common currency.
Isn't it against the sovereignty of the countries to be controlled by a mechanism? I mean, Germany's, France's, Britain's, Spain's, Italy's, whatsoever, their economies will be supervised and will be dealt with if need be. So is it in violation of sovereignty? Do you believe that?
Is it good for your sovereignty if you are controlled by the financial market who will sanction you immediately, very often irrationally, if you have a higher budget deficit and they say down with the rating? This is the real alternative. The alternative is not to be alone and to do whatever you want. The alternative is to be sanctioned by irrationally very often by the financial market, by the rating agency.
I want your opinion on the rating agencies, because once the Turkish Prime Minister Erdogan said, when Turkey was rated not very positively, he said, well, I don't listen to them and I won't be listening to them anymore, he said. What do you think about these credit organizations?
The Prime Ministers can say, I don't listen, but the question is if those who give the money, the creditors, listen or not, because then they demand more. It's also in the European Union has been true that some of the downgrading has been not effective, including the one on France and my own country in Austria, because the creditors said, no, we give at the same level and the same interest rate the money. But I think we work on our legislation to have them more controlled, to have more transparency, so that they are forced to say why they are downgrading, and being not dependent, of course, as very often in the cases of company, that the company who were rated were paying the money to the credit agency, which is a bit crazy.
Okay, we'll continue to talk. Evet, devam edeceğiz. Ekonomik kısmı biraz böyleydi ama aslında krizden de çok uzaklaşmayalım. Çünkü kriz Avrupa'da birliğin çıkarları mı, ulusal çıkarlar mı sorusunu da aslında beraberinde getirdi. Bu durum Avrupa Birliği'nin geleceği hakkında soru işaretlerine de neden oluyor diyebiliriz. Milliyetçilik Avrupa ülkelerindeki ayrılıkçı bölgelerde de son zamanlarda artış eğiliminde. Gelin bir bakalım, sonra konuşmaya devam edeceğiz.
Ekonomik krizle birlikte Avrupa Birliği'nin geleceğine dair tartışmalar da gündemi meşgul ediyor. Üye ülkeler krize karşı topyekün bir mücadele konusunda kararsız. Bu kararsızlık, üye ülkelerin ulusal çıkarlarının halen birliğin önceliklerinin önünde olduğunun da göstergesi. Örneğin yeni mali disiplin anlaşmasına imza atmayan İngiltere'de Avrupa Birliği'nde kalıp kalmamak konusunda referandum yapılması yönündeki tartışmalar sürüyor. Özellikle iktidardaki Muhafazakar Parti'ye mensup bir grup milletvekili daha fazla yetkiyi Brüksel'e devredecek bir yapının İngiltere'nin çıkarlarına zarar vereceği görüşünde. Benzer bir referandum önerisini İtalya'da da Berlusconi hükümetinin koalisyon ortaklarından aşırı sağcı Kuzey İttifakı Partisi de gündeme getirmişti. Bu tablo Avrupa'nın siyasi birlik hedefine sanıldığı kadar yakın olmadığını da ortaya koyuyor. Ekonomik krizle birlikte artan milliyetçilik Avrupa içindeki etnik sorunları da su yüzüne çıkarıyor. Bunun en somut örneği İspanya'da yaşananlar. İspanyol ekonomisinin 1/5'ini oluşturan Katalonya, kendisine ait bir hazine ve vergi yönetimi istedi. Ancak İspanya Başbakanı Mariano Rajoy Brey, Barcelona'daki Katalan yönetiminin lideri Artur Mas'ın mali bağımsızlık talebini anayasaya aykırı olduğu gerekçesiyle reddetti. Yılda 16 milyar euro vergi toplandığını savunan Katalonya, bu vergilerin merkezi hükümete ve diğer bölgelere gitmesini istemiyor. Red kararının ardından bölgede tam bağımsızlık taleplerinin yoğunlaşması bekleniyor. Zira anketler halkın büyük bölümünün ayrılıktan yana olduğunu gösteriyor.
Evet, Anne Swoboda ile konuşmaya devam ediyoruz. Mr. Swoboda, we talked a bit that England vetoed this financial pact and will maybe take it into a referendum in the coming period. And then we see this Catalonia in Spain. It wants to be financially independent from Spain. And so we see that some countries, troubled countries, are seeking their own ways to get out of the crisis. What do you think about it? Do you think that Europe is dividing?
I think in all situations where there is a crisis and it cannot be solved easily and soon, then people come and say, okay, let's do it alone. In Germany, you have even some people from Bavaria, from one of the countries of Germany, who say, no, we don't need even Germany, but we don't need Europe at all. I think this is a reaction which is not rationally founded, but emotionally understanding, perhaps. And therefore, we have to deliver. European politicians have to deliver very soon that they can come out of the crisis. And therefore, it has to be changed, the policy, from mere cutting pensions and salaries into going into productive investment and giving the country some time also to come out of the crisis. Insisting, of course, on real reforms. Why is Ireland doing relatively well? Because, of course, it was already an industrialized country, because it has an agreement between the government and the opposition, but it's basically, and especially with the trade unions, how to deal with this issue. And they have positive measures. So that is very important, not to be only in the negative sense, cutting down everything. If you cut the salary, but there are no jobs, people can not have a new job and just have less money to consume and less demand.
Yes. But when we take a look at the position of Greece, it's not a producer country, we see. And now, as you mentioned, they're cutting pensions, they're cutting salaries, and in a way, they're taking the people's earned rights away from them, which is, I think, not compatible with the democracy. But what is your position on Greece's economy? Because it's not producing.
Well, first of all, you have to be fair inside the country and tax more the rich than the poor. And still there are many problems concerning the taxation system. You have to build up a fair taxation system. Secondly, of course, you have to think what can be produced. Solar energy a lot of solar energy can be produced and even exported. Sea biology, there are a lot of things which can be produced. It will not be the big industrialized country from one day to another, but it existed for quite a while and did well before the common currency. Thirdly, tourism. It has really to modernize tourism. If you look to Turkey, many of the tourist installation and enterprises modernized and brought new quality. Greece also has to do that. So there are possibilities to really change the structure in Greece without changing, of course, the character of the Greek people and the wonderful country. It's a wonderful country, but it has to modernize.
If it really wants to. Okay, this economic crisis also led to the rise of the rightists in Europe. We'll take a look at what's the situation there and then we'll continue talking. Evet, ekonomik krizle birlikte dedik Avrupa'yı endişelendiren bir başka olgu da aşırı sağın yükselişiydi. Irkçı ve İslam karşıtı görüşler krizin de etkisiyle artık daha çok taraftar topluyor ve bu durum Avrupa'nın ortaya koyduğu değerler sistemine de tehdit oluşturuyor.
Avrupa'daki ekonomik kriz, ırkçılık ve İslam karşıtlığını da körüklüyor. Yabancı düşmanlığının en çok artış gösterdiği ülke Yunanistan. Aşırı sağcı grupların baskısı altındaki göçmenler son dönemlerde sık sık saldırıya uğruyor. Daha da düşündürücü olansa saldırılardan sorumlu tutulan Altın Şafak Partisi'ne olan desteğin artıyor olması. Kıta Avrupa'sının ırkçı saldırılarla ilgili sicili zaten kalabalık. Almanya'da Türkleri hedef alan seri cinayetler ve bu cinayetleri işleyen neo-nazi hücrelerle Alman istihbaratı arasındaki bağlar sorunun büyüklüğünün de göstergesi. Aşırı sağ söylemler son yıllarda Hollanda, Fransa ve Avusturya gibi ülkelerde de taraftar topluyor. Bu gruplara desteği artıran olgulardan biri de İslam karşıtlığı. Zira 11 Eylül'ün ardından oluşan ön yargılar henüz kırılabilmiş değil. Hz. Muhammed'e hakaret içeren bir filmin İslam dünyasında infial yarattığı bir dönemde bir Fransız mizah dergisinin Hz. Muhammed'in karikatürlerini yayınlaması yeni tartışmalara yol açtı. Almanya'da da ırkçı bir grup İslam dünyasını ayağa kaldıran film için özel bir gösterim düzenleme kararı aldı. İsviçre'deki minare referandumu, Norveç'teki karikatür krizi ve Almanya'daki sünnet tartışmaları da Avrupa'da son yıllarda artan İslam karşıtlığının somut örnekleri arasında.
Evet, Avrupa Parlamentosu Sosyalistler lideri Hanne Swoboda ile konuşmaya devam ediyoruz. Mr. Swoboda, as at the beginning of the program, you placed great emphasis on how the European Union, democracies and Islam can coexist together and they're compatible to one another. But as we said in the news that in the Netherlands, France, Austria and in Germany, we see Islamophobia is on the rise and extreme rightists are on the rise as well. What are your comments on that? And the last, of course, the film which insulted Islam and the Prophet Muhammad.
Well, there are always people who earn their political living on pointing to somebody who is bad, who should be expelled, and even worse. And as anti-Semitism in many of the circles is no longer politically correct or accepted, after all what Europe did to the Jews, now Islamophobia was rising. Look at Le Pen, the family Le Pen in France. The father was a clear anti-Semite.
Yes.
The daughter is a clear Islamophobe person. So she changed very soon, and the same is in Austria and many other countries. First of all, you have to be very clear against it and make it clear that you are not dealing with these people. And you see the result also in the Netherlands in the last election.
Yes.
Wilders' party went down, it lost.
Yeah.
And other populists on the left side, which were not anti-Muslims, at least it was stuck. So to be constructive, pro-European can earn you some political gain. But you have to be very clear on this issue. Secondly, the crazy extremists, they always support each other. You make a crazy extremist anti-Islam film, and you will find some people in the streets in some capitals who were, by violence, demonstrating or even killing people. So I think that the reasonable people, if they are Christian or Muslims or non-believers, the reasonable people who are for tolerance, who are for acceptance, who are for respect, respect, of course, of religion, they should work together and make it very clear that these people on the fringe, they don't speak for the majority. They speak for small minorities.
Yes, you say they speak for the small minorities, and you say some of them are crazy extremists. But when we take out the realities on the ground, for example, in Greece, Greece takes a lot of immigrants from Middle Eastern countries, from Asia, and yet we see Greece is struggling with its economy. And now the Greek people do not want strangers, foreigners, to come to their countries because they already have no money and they don't want to support those people. And so comes Islamophobia or anti-Semitism whatsoever. What are your comments? I mean, because there are some facts on the ground.
Yeah, of course. But the first, my comment would be that Turkey should be helpful to control the border. This would be my first comment.
Turkey doesn't want that too much.
Yeah, this is the one. The second is, of course, in Greece, unfortunately, since many years already, they did not really do their job. But they were not helped by the European Union, by the European Union countries. When the European Union countries, and especially the Minister of Interior, said we have to change Schengen and more national control, it was the European Parliament who said no, no national control. Immigration is a joint issue. We have to show solidarity and help Greece, as we should help Turkey when they have the big refugee problem. Yes. So I think solidarity is something where Islam and Christian and everybody can work together if their political will is here. And I think people would follow. But leaders have to have the courage to say, no, we cannot allow these things. We help the people. We have enough money in the European Union to help these people. This is not overshadowing our budgets. We have to do it. And then I think also these negative voices will calm down.
Then now we will move to the common foreign policy of the European Union, because it has been criticized, especially Catherine Ashton has been criticized a lot for European Union's stance towards Iran and Russia and China. We'll take a look at it and then we'll continue. Evet, Avrupa Birliği ülkeleri ekonomik kriz karşısında dedik görüş ayrılıkları yaşıyor, ama diğer taraftan da siyasi bir birlik olma yolunda da kararlı bir tavır pek de sergileyemiyorlar. Lizbon Anlaşması'ndan sonra ortak bir dış politika oluşturulması konusunda yeni bir yapılanmaya da gidildi. Ancak beklenen sonuç henüz alınabilmiş değil.
Soğuk Savaş'ın ardından Avrupa Birliği'nin başlıca hedeflerinden biri ekonomik bir birlik olmaktan öteye geçip küresel alanda yeni bir güce dönüşmekti. Bunun için ekonomik entegrasyon ve ortak pazar gibi kavramlar yeterli görülmedi. Yeni hedef siyasi alanlarda da birlikti. İlk adım ortak bir dış politika ve savunma konsepti geliştirmek oldu. Ancak ortak dış politika hedefine bugün bile tam anlamıyla ulaşılabilmiş değil. Üyelerin dış politikadaki önceliklerinin farklı olduğunu en somut şekilde ortaya koyan 2003 yılındaki Irak Savaşı öncesinde yaşandı. Schröder'in iktidarda olduğu Almanya ile Chirac'ın yönettiği Fransa, Amerika Birleşik Devletleri öncülüğündeki koalisyonun Irak operasyonuna katılmayı reddetti. Buna karşın İngiltere, savaş için kurulan koalisyonda Birleşik Devletler'in en büyük destekçisi oldu. İspanya ve İtalya da Irak operasyonuna katılmayı kendi çıkarları açısından uygun gördü. NATO üyeliğini hedefleyen ve bugün hemen hemen hepsi Avrupa Birliği'nin üyesi olan Doğu Avrupa ülkeleri de Paris ve Berlin yönetimlerinin aksine Irak'a asker gönderdi. Benzeri bir ayrışmada son olarak Libya'ya yapılan müdahale sırasında yaşandı. Bu kez İngiltere ve Fransa operasyonun öncülüğünü yaparken Almanya geri planda kalmayı tercih etti. Avrupa Birliği Dış Politika Yüksek Temsilcisi Catherine Ashton da son dönemlerde sık sık Suriye konusunda yeterince etkin olamamakla eleştiriliyor.
Evet, hani Swoboda ile konuşmaya devam ediyoruz. Mr. Swoboda, we ended the news package as saying that Catherine Ashton is being criticized, not pursuing effective policies, especially on Syrian issue. What is your opinion on that?
Well, first of all, the criticism comes mainly from the people who are preventing to have a more united position of European Union, many of the foreign ministers. Secondly, who does a really successful foreign policy in the world today? Probably the American Foreign Secretary, Hillary Clinton, is one of the best, if not the best. But what could she change? Could she change China? Could she change Russia? Could she change the obstination of both, or the veto of both against an effective policy in Syria? So one should be more realistic. Your foreign minister said we won't have any kind of crisis with our neighbors. No, with all the neighbors there are crises. It's not his mistake. But there is no good relation with Armenia, not with Iran, not with Syria, not with Israel. So we should be more modest. It's very hard. The world has changed. It's not that Europe says, we do that, and everybody says, okay, we do it. No, we don't have it. And the military intervention, like in Iraq and like Afghanistan, big problems here and there. Every day people are still killed in both, in Iraq and in Afghanistan. So we should be more modest.
What do you mean by being modest?
That military solutions very often fail. That we should rather work together, of course, with the US, Europe, and Turkey, for example, concerning Syria. I hope that after the election in the US, there will be more stronger cooperation, even maybe a no-fly zone, which would be good.
When we take a look at Turkey, the United States, and the European Union, we see them in the same bloc as by opposing the Syrian president, Bashar Assad. I mean, three sides want Assad to go. So we're already working together, aren't we?
We're working together, but perhaps not closely enough on all the issues from the refugees towards the situation afterwards. One of the problems, for example, the opposition is not united still in Syria. The opposition is characterized by very good and pragmatic, progressive people. Some of them are perhaps not as progressive. They are not clear about the diversity of the people in Syria. So we should have a common position. And if we have a ministers' meeting between European Union and Turkey, then Turkey says, yes, but I don't invite the Minister of Foreign Affairs from Cyprus because we have a conflict with Cyprus. So still, there are many small issues which are preventing to have a real common, strong strategy.
You also emphasize the importance of Turkey and Israel getting back on track as they used to be in the past, but you know that the relations are frozen already. So what are your suggestions for that? Because Mr. Erdogan said if our demands are not met by the Israeli government, there will be no talk.
I think I was in Israel in July. There were many people who have an interest to strengthen their ties with Turkey. And if Turkey wants to play a big role, then it has also to improve relations with Israel. Because if they want to help the Palestinians, which I fully understand, and I understand the anger of Mr. Erdogan, but if they want to help the Palestinian people, they only can do it if they put pressure on Israel. If you don't have any kind of positive relationship with Israel...
But Israel doesn't even... on the appearance, doesn't even listen to the U.S. now.
Of course, the foreign minister is beyond what a foreign minister should do. And of course, also the prime minister is not very helpful. I agree. And therefore, let's hope that after the election in Israel, a new government will be there. Let's hope at least for that. We work on that, also as Social Democrats, to give support to the Social Democrats there. Let's hope Obama wins. And so that is a clear position.
So you're not supportive of Romney, huh?
No, absolutely not. Not only because of the Israel and Palestinian conflict, but his whole policy, and when he says, you know, that half of the people of the United States are living only on donations from the government and don't pay their taxes. I mean, who doesn't pay the taxes are the very rich and not the poorer half of the society.
We're running out of time. I just wonder your opinion about this Arab Spring. Do you believe it to be true?
It is true, but we have to help them. We have to help them with advice, also with money, with investment. And again, this is a big role also for the cooperation between European Union and Turkey. Why don't we invest together? We have many companies who can work together on building roads, on trains, on telecommunication, on many issues. We can show how Europe and Turkey can work together. For example, also on the new Syria. The new Syria to build up is an enormous task, important task. And Turkey and Europe should work together on these issues.
Okay, Mr. Swoboda, unfortunately we're out of time. Thank you for joining us, for spending your time with us and sharing your views. And enjoy your stay in Turkey.
Thank you very much.
Evet, yavaş yavaş programın sonuna geliyoruz. Avrupa Parlamentosu Sosyalistler Başkanı Hane Swoboda ile konuşmamızı burada sonlandırıyoruz. Programın da yavaş yavaş sonuna geliyoruz ama bir fotoğraf altına bakalım. Ve böylece bir TRT Dünya gündeminin daha sonuna geldik. Soru, yorum, görüş ve eleştiriniz için e-mail adresimiz yorum@trtdunyagündemi.com, yorum@trtdunyagündemi.com. Yarın Türkiye saatiyle 18'de farklı bir programla yeniden karşınızda olacağım. Şimdilik hoşça kalın.